Hi guys, how you all doing? Hope everyone's well. Welcome back to Happy-Ness Colours Kerby Roseanne's. Today I'm going to do a video what I've been saying I'm going to do for a while. I did hope to get it up before now, but I've been grandbaby minding for a few days, so that's been fantastic. Obviously when I do have the children here I don't get time to come on and do any videos, unfortunately. So today I'm going to show you how I bound my books. I did show me Worlds Within Worlds book, which is my favourite and most in coloured book, and I have bound it. When you do bind your books you seem to get more into the centre of the pages, so I do actually really like, this is the page I'm working on at the moment. I do really like getting, you know, colouring in these books, and so far once they've been bound it just does give you that little ease, and it does, you know, it's also great as well for people when in other countries. I've noticed this is the UK edition, I think, they do last longer, the pages are a little bit thicker and they don't fall apart as easy, but I think that's more to the point of what mediums you use on your page as well. If you do use a lot of water mediums it does do something to the binding and the books do fall apart. I've seen quite a few people juggling their Kerby books because pages are falling out, so maybe this is, you know, one of the best things, you know, you could do to save your Kerby book and any other colouring book as well you have. If I did have lots of other artists I would, you know, do this to all the books. I'm slowly working through mine. I tend to colour in them more than bind them, but it's something I'm going to start doing over the next few weeks. Do maybe a couple of books. I think I've got all 11 of Kerby books except for the doodle ones, so I will work my way through them, and I do have them all double as well, so I might keep the second copies unbound and just use that for pages that I want to recolour. Maybe someone's asked me to do that or something. So here we go. So I use this for the punching of the holes. It's a KW Trio, and it's a 6 hole punch. I bought this off Amazon. I think it was about £10 or something like that. I will try and find the more details from Amazon and put it in the description with this video, but just put in, you know, hole punch, book binding hole punch, and these should come up. It took a couple of days to come from Amazon. And then next I use the spiral bounds. I've got two different sizes. Come on, untangle rather. I've got the smaller size, this size is the 3.1 ratio. That means 3 holes per inch. So it's the 3.1, and this is the 7 to 9mm coil. And then I've got a bigger one which I use for my bigger books, like I'd use the smaller one for the Geomorphia and the Fantomorphia and the smaller books, and then for his usual books like Worlds Within Worlds and my Geomorphia, I found the bigger sizes were better, and well, this is the medium one, which is the 3.1 ratio again, but 9.5mm. So I just basically measure the size of your spine and go from there. So what I'm going to just show you briefly is how I go about getting the books ready for binding. So here I'm going to work on Geomorphia. It's one of the smaller books, but I thought rather than, you know, sitting here and doing one of the bigger books and taking all year. So first thing I look at is, if you look, I think I've got a good thing there, if you look at the spine, you see here at the very edge where the glue is, there's like you've got your end, like the actual spine, and then you've got a smidgen of what the glue that holds all the books together, and what you basically need is to get rid of that glue there and then just cut slightly into your pages. Now it doesn't get rid of any of your coloured things if you do it, you know, quite to the edges you can. Now how I do that is I use a scalpel, again very sharp, sorry. I got these off Amazon. You get 3 in a pack and it was £2. I don't usually like using scalpels because obviously, you know, I just don't like having them around personally. And then I usually do have a steel ruler, but I can't find that as it happens. So this is just a piercing ruler that I had from years ago from my card making days, and on the end of it is a metal bit running right down the edge, so it's perfect for using with a scalpel. So what I usually do, I'll turn it round this way. I know you're not cut, I'll try and do it the proper way. You're not supposed to cut towards you in case it slips and obviously cuts you, so doing it sensibly as we are. Let me try and bring you in a little bit, just so you can see just how roughly much I'm taking off. Now what I do is I personally take a strip off, and then if it needs to go, just, you know, keep going back at it to bring that binding off. So let's have a look there. I think we're about straight. So with this you do have to hold your ruler quite tight and make sure it doesn't move, and then just go along, putting your knife into that edge and running it along. It is quite tough to do, and then as you see it'll just bring, you know, the first section off. It will bring some of the binding totally off, which doesn't really matter because we're going to get rid of that page anyway. It's just this rubber we want to get rid of in here, which is the glue which holds it all together. So just prise that back if you can once you've broken that seal, and then you'll see the pages start coming down. This is the way I personally do it. You may find a much easier way of doing it. On the bigger books I do try and go in and take the binding apart by cutting the string out first. I'll just go in a little bit further with that bit there. So again, you can see there it's just come off perfectly across the way. This bit's gone a little bit deeper, which is as good, we want it all to do. And then once I've done that, it's just a matter of opening your pages and just whittling them apart, and they come apart as easy as that. So it's once you've got rid of that rubber off there, like here it's just a little bit deeper, so I'll just take that off. You can cut the rubber off all the way if you like. It's just a matter of, you know, cutting very, very slight bits off. And then as you open your pages, like I say, I tried to do it, oh, see, not quite got the rubber out there, but the pages will come. And then what you can do is you can neaten your pages up as we go on. Let me just have another look at this middle section here. So that's come right off there to there, so just get rid of that rubber section. There we go, that's better. Can feel it's all come off now. So it is a few tries, you do have to go in obviously, you know, then just your pages will just come apart. You can do it that, you know, you can cut each individual pages, like here where the strings are. This is what I have tried to do on my Geomorphia. I'll show you that in a second. So basically, as you can see, once I got rid of all that rubber, the pages are coming out very, very simply. Pull them out a few at a time or one by one. Once you know they're all coming apart, you just go for it and just take them. And then all we need to do then is just neaten up the front and the back pages. So once you have all your pages out, and believe you me, I do get the sweats when I'm doing this because it's the sort of way that goes wrong and it's a Kerby book. So that's all the pages out. Okay, so you've got all your pages separate at this point. Okay, so now what we'll do is take your very front page. Now this one is glued quite well in on this one. It's obviously the front page. So what I do is just get your knife and we're just going to neaten up that edge. So all I'm going to do is put my ruler down. Let me just find the line on here I'm a match to, so I can make sure I get it straight. Just bear with me a second. So I'm just using my bottom glass mat to try and get this as straight as I can. And then I don't want to take much off this, but with the hole punch I've got, it does have a little bit of trouble, and I'll show you now. Like I say, you might find another one. See, that's not gone right through to the card. It's just took that initial paper off. Wasn't fitting hard enough. I get thingy touching the bottom because I'm doing it on a glass. So there's our first page and cut nicely. So then what I just do is go through each of your pages. If you think, you know, it needs neatening up, obviously neaten it up on the sides that we've cut. Go through each individual page. And I think most of these are, like I do this section here, I'll just put that section to the side. You can just see where the binding's been on this couple of pages. So what I do is, again, as close as you can to the edge, and just make that cut. I think my scalpel might have gone a bit blunt because I've been cutting it on the glass mat, which does blunten your knives, so you have to be a bit careful. Ouch, banged my elbow as I was doing it. Oh, what's up with that little page here? At least you see now it can be done. So again, put that with the rest of the book, and then you just work your way through cutting all the other pages, which I won't do now here with you. We're doing a Blue Peter, and here's one I've got made earlier. So once you've got all your pages and everything's cut and all the bindings, you know, disappeared and stuff like that, you've neatened everything up basically, what we're going to do then is we're going to move to the good bit on putting our hole punches. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll just grab the first few pages of Geomorphia for me to show you. Now these punches are really good. Like I say, this is a 3 holes to 1 inch cutter, you can see there. So basically what it is you've got 6 hole punch here. Now depending whether you work it from the top that way or that way, whichever handed you are, I go from this top side here. Okay, so you've got a button on this end and a button on that end. What you need to do is the end where the rest of the book is going to go, you have that pushed in so it's flat, and you have the one up here raised. Now the reason why you have that one raised is also, I'll just tell you, you've got all different measurements here. You've got measurements for an A4, a B5, A5. It depends how you want your pages to look. I'm not too bothered if there's a bit of a gap at the top and at the bottom of my books, as long as they're bound and they're not going to come apart. So what I do is, now this page is going to be a pain again. Yeah, this is what I mean. This one, the only thing you can do is, well, the only reason why I don't like it is you can only do like 2 pages at a time. So if you are looking for one of these, try and get one that has a bit more space. I don't know if you can see there the space. Let me just get a single page where this would go. So a single page you put in, and basically I think I can fit 2 or 3 pages in at a time. If it's a coloured page, always do it on its own, because it won't, you know, the wax on your crayons does stop it, you know, from. So again, it's not the best in the world, but for the price of it, for £10, and you can bind as many books as you like. You know, I'm in no rush hole punching. I can sit here all day and do it. I find it quite relaxing. doing it. So with the first pages on here, because you've got the bind and the raised up, it is quite difficult to get in to that thing. So what I have been doing is I've been cutting it down to the actual taking the whole bind off. So that's the whole edge that I take off and punch that way. But that is entirely up to you to do. You can get it in there with a bit of force and sweat on this particular one, because like I say, you're doing a piece of card and a piece of the paper. You could take the paper off in there, you know, if I just try it like that, I take that particular page off. You can see on here where that's where all the glue has been put in. Like I say, because of that, it is that little bit harder to get into the, there we go, we have got it in. Like I say, it is a bit of a sweat. Now there we go, we've got it in. So the one I go for is the smallest one, which is B5. So see there, I've got it lined up to the B5, and it's just basically on line with the puncher itself. So once you put it in, just press it down, and then as you bring it upwards, you will get 6 holes. Now that red mark you use on your 5th hole, and then what it does is that's a guide that you've got to punch another 6 holes. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 one excuse me, is just coming through. You put it on the 5th one, make sure it's straight at the back, and again punch, and that's all it is doing. So while we've got this in here, I'll finish this one off. So there we go, that's the 5th one. Is it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, no, nowhere near, Vanessa. See, I'd have made a huge hash and I'd have been quite upset. So that's the 6th hole. So bring it down, make sure it fits nicely into your red dot, and again clamp. Okay, so again we go looking for our 6 holes, so that's number 1, 2. I have got a big piece of rubber here, so I'm hoping it's not going to stop it from going in. Let me just see if I can just, this area here on the back, the rubber does go quite, not rubber, the glue, sorry. So what I'm going to do is just try and see if we can get rid of some of that area there. It's coming off, as you can see. It's just the glue area, the glue makes it a little bit thicker to get in. There we go. Let's see if I can do that a bit up here. Obviously I don't want to go too much and go into the actual, you know, take it too thin, but a bit thinner in this area will help me out massively. Let me just try it from that angle. And it is obviously a tough glue as well to use on these books, that's why they don't tend to fall apart. Right, let me see if this is any better. Nope, still that area there. I'm glad this has happened actually, because now it's basically showing you what, oh there we go, just get a little layer of the card off, and hopefully that's going to be a lot better. You're not going to see that as well because it is going to be within the binding. So like I say, you put it into your, no, don't believe this, trust this to happen today. But like I say, it's a learning curve. If you have these issues, we do but mend them. So if you just use your thumb, try and roll that glue off. And then what I just want to do is see if I can flatten that back out. Try and get it right, so that should be a little bit thinner now. Test 4. So, as we say, there we go, we have it. So we put it back into the thingy of the puncture. Got our last hole there, so we want the one before, so we're looking at the second one. So again, just push that in, make sure your 5th dot is in there, it's flush to the back, and punch. And then you've got a little gap here at the bottom. So what I do is I just still go in and put it on there, and it just does a little baked one there, which I don't mind because you can put the wire into that and it just keeps it all in one. So that's how you do the front cover. Okay, I'll show you again a couple of times. Let me just get rid of all that rubbish there, I do apologise. Hopefully I will make it look easier. So just take your next 2 pages, make sure they are flush with each other. So we're bringing them into the puncher, and again I prefer to hold it up in front of me so it's like that, but obviously for camera reasons I'm going to try and do it as flat as I can. So let me just get my line up. So we're going for the B5. You can go for the A5 if you want, and that will adjust your holes differently, and you'll have a space at the top and a space at the bottom what are equal, but I just personally prefer to go for the B5. So on the B5, clamp down, and then we're going for the second to the last hole. So that's the last hole, that's the second hole. Make sure it's secure on there, make sure your paper is pushed in as far as we can, and then you punch again. Okay, so you bring it up, you look at your holes, last hole, and then the 5th hole, put over the red dot to hold in place, make sure it's all lined up, and clamp. Okay, again, you can pull it out, look at all your holes, you're looking for the second to the last hole, that's the last hole, that's the second to the last hole. It is easier when you've got it up in front of you, you can see it, you're more comfortable and stuff like that, and you clamp. And then again, like if you look there now, the gap is a lot bigger. I will get another hole in this space, and then obviously a little extra one. So what you do is you go into your 5th hole, you make sure that page is straight and up to the back, and then clamp, and then you get your extra hole there. So that's the page as a thing. We've got it from the top there, if I put it over you can see there, and then right down to the bottom. So if you ignored that little mark, it would be the perfect fit, except for you just having a little chunk of the next hole taken off in there. You could always sort something out with that, you could put something else, I don't know how you'd sort that out, just do mess about with your measurements if you like, but it's how I like it. So I'll show you again, just once more, and then we're going to do a blue pizza. If you're in the UK, you know what that is. Here's one we made earlier. So I'll try doing it this way this time, see if it makes any easier. So we'll put it in the hook push, you push it right to the back to make sure you're getting right in there. You level it up to where you want it on the right hand side, which is mine B5. So that's where, push down, I'm going to do my first lot of holes. You bring it to the right, and then you've got your 6 holes there. We want hole number 5, so we're going back, and you put that red marker inside, and it just holds your pages in perfect place for the next lot. Push that back to make sure it's as far as in as it'll go, and punch down. When you get the knack of this, you work through a book. You know, you can do these in sections within, 10 minutes. It takes to do some of the books, obviously, like at the start, the front page, sorry, that's the 5th, that's the right one. And there's my last of my whole. So there's the pages that we've just clipped together. So when you get your whole book, they will all line up beautifully, and then you're just ready for your spine. Okay, so I'll work on the rest of this Geomorphia later. And here's a book I've recently done. Let me just get rid of them pages. And there's a couple of Geomorphia pages out there, but I'll find the place. So here's a book I did earlier, off camera. I took the spine off just like I've shown you, and I neatened all the pages up and hole punched them all. Okay, so what you do now is you get all your pages together, and if you line them up, you will see, I don't know if you can see there, let me see if I can use this darker page for at the back to see. I don't know if you can see there, but you can see the holes through. Some of them are a bit jaggedy because obviously every page isn't going to, you know, they will all line up if you do them one by one, but I've just grabbed the book as a whole. So here at the end I can see now, let me see if I can bring you in further, and hopefully, so if I put my hand through there you can see my hand through the back, so you can see through the holes. Okay, so I'm going to get my smallest binder, my spiral binder, I even speak, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that, you see the edge here, it bends over a little bit there, can you see? There it bends over. So what I do is I try and straighten that little bit out, just at the end. It's dead easy to do, just do it with your fingers and just make it a little bit straighter, as you can see there. And then as you go in to the pages, just bear with me, this one I'm coming in from the back because obviously it winds from back to front. So I'm going to come in through the back, whittle it, and it comes straight through to the front. Now, if you just turn the other spirals, it will automatically start to go towards the next hole. So all you need to do is just guide it into that next hole and push that through. It does get easier, believe you me. So you're getting it and you're bringing it till it pops through to that hole. And then I just use these spirals and just turn it, place that into the holes and push it till it comes through to the front. And as your book lines itself up, as you get halfway through, you will just start to, like I've just done then, you just turn your other spirals, so it's turning all these, and it just automatically finds the way. So with these spirals here, I'm just going to push them away from me, find the hole there with the end of it, and just turn it. So you're just guiding it into the hole each time from the back, bringing that edge forward into the hole, and it will find its way through. And then, like I say, as you start to get further into the book and wind the spirals, it automatically finds the hole for you because you've got the right ratio to holes on the page, the 3 holes to 1 inch punch and the spiral bound. So again, if you just go around and just push all your spirals down as you're doing it, it automatically pops through the holes itself. It lines up your paperwork better, and it just makes it so much easy and so it's just easy. It's just great. So okay, we're down to the bottom now. So like I say, I have the offcut here. So what I like to do is bring that little one. Let me just, on this one I've just remembered I did do one of the pages the opposite way, so let me just get that there. So I bring that in, and then what I do is bring it right round so you're basically at the back. On this side, pull it forward. Okay, so this is all spare leftovers. Now what I like to do is, let me just grab my scissors, forgot them. I cut it off 1 over, yeah, and then what I do is cut that bit, sorry, bring this bit here and I thread it into that first hole, and as it comes around the other side just squash it together, and then it basically, that's finishing that off, and it won't ever come undone, she says, as it comes undone. So yeah, let me just do that one again, push it into the hole, bring it back up there and just tuck it under the first bind there, so it's not sharp at all and it won't come undone in the future. And the same with this hole here. What I'll do is I will bring this piece back up to this hole up here. You don't have to do this, you can just cut it off, it's just something I prefer to do because I don't want to have the sharp binder edges. Let me just turn it around a little bit. I think I've left this piece a bit too long, so what I'll do is just get this back end and just thread it back. Oh, yeah, left it too long. Bend it back through that hole there and put the extra piece down into that hole there. Okay, so on the back it just looks like it's just there clamping at the back, and then when we open the book, all the pages, there we go, let me just open it off as well, that bit has come out there. So when you open the book then to colouring, obviously we can get a lot further down into the spines. They are all, you know, perfectly bound together. You can see all your pages you've recently done and they all open up beautifully right up until your last page, and then that is how I bind my books. I have been asked a couple of times since I started the channel on how I bound the books, and it has been a video that has, you know, it's been one of them where, right, I need to get this one, I need to get this one done, and then this weekend, well, this last few days obviously I had the children, and I just thought something I can be doing while the children are here is punching holes in the books, and that's what I did. So yeah, I'm going to work on the Geomorphia, and then another book that I'm halfway through doing is my Happy-Ness. Now obviously Happy-Ness is one of the thicker books, so I thought rather than taking the edge off the whole of the book like I do, what I'm going to try and do is I've gone through each section, found the centre pages in each book, and I just knit at the thread in each book because these are thread bound books. Obviously it's not just pages glued in, it's sections of pages, you know, what are glued in together, bound in together, then all glued together. So what I'm trying to do is I'm going to work a way out. So what I plan to do is on the double pages I'll just cut straight down the centre, and on the edge pages, obviously as the book gets thinner, I'll be able to take it just so I've not got no glue on each page. Once the book is cut apart, I think that's the hardest part really, getting your book apart, which isn't really that hard. I did it just before, as I've shown you, where I get the edge. You can see on the edges of the pages, if you run your finger at the very, very edge, you can see, I don't know if you can see there, let me bring you in. Let me bring you in, sorry. Don't think you're going to be able to see it. I might have to bring it up to you or get it in the light there. You can see the very first line there, and that is where the glue bounding is. The second one is obviously where we open our books, but here is like where we tend to like try and break our books when we're opening them to get them to the middle sections, and that's why so many books fall apart. So that's the area that you need to get off first. Once you've removed that layer there of the glue, as you've seen before, like I just showed you, the pages do come apart quite easily once you give them a little tug. Just bear with me 1 second. So yeah, that's just a brief video on how I tend to bind my own books. I hope you have liked it. Please give me the thumbs up, and if you're new to my channel, please subscribe. Obviously, you know, subscribers do mean a lot to me, and I just want more people to get to know about my channel. I only do colour Kerby books, as you know. There's a lot of people out there who are Kerby fans, and the channel channel is going quite well. I'm more than happy with it, and the colour challenges are going down really well. Everyone seems to be enjoying them, so I thank you for that. I will be doing a colour along next. It's in Out of Worlds Within Worlds for the metal challenge, that ends next Tuesday on the 31st of January, so I will be coming on and doing a colour along of that. In the description below, like I said, I will enter the details of the particular KW trio punch I have. I'll also put details of the scalpel on there, and obviously the 2 different sizes of spirals. You can get, what you need to do is basically when you're buying your punch, it will have a ratio like a 3.1, which is 3 holes per inch, and you have to make sure that your spirals or your binders are that as well. So if that was 2.1 and this is 3.1, they're not obviously going to get together. So when you go on Amazon and you're looking up hole punch, look for, I think they usually do 6. You can buy these massive machines that you just can basically do a whole book in one, and then just crimp it all together. But I obviously can't afford anything like that, and doubt a lot of people would go to that expense just to spiral bound about 12 books. Obviously, you know, I have got a lot of the spirals, and these do only come in boxes of 100. I think you can get certain packs where they come in 6, but I knew I'd need more than that, and the next box was 100. But again, it was still 100 of these for, I think it was £12, so that is a great price. I will not use them all, never in a month of Sundays, unless Kerby is going to get really fast at colouring, doing his books, which obviously we know he's not doing at the moment. So, you know, if anyone in the UK does want any of these spirals, by all means drop me a message below and I'll send you some, by all means, because I've got way too many. I've got 200 in all, obviously in both the sizes, the small and the medium. There are bigger ones you can go to, but Kerby's books, I don't think I need bigger than the 9.5. I'm more than happy with that. So there you go, that's the end of my video. So I love you all. Thank you very much for watching my videos. I really do appreciate every single one of you. So happy Kerby colouring, and until next time, we'll chat soon. Thanks very much. Bye.